And we're rolling on part 2 of our extemporaneous speeches on November 24th, and Kai was just the good Samaritan and gave Kai gave up his leather jacket and his sweatshirt. Yeah, okay, good man. And she gave nothing. Okay, and we were picking up the thread of the CDC. We heard the sad story about your mother getting cancer, and you were hoping there was a magic shot, which there wasn't. And then you told us that you answered an emphatic yes, the CDC should mandate vaccines. And I was hoping you'd give me a preview as to 2 or 3 reasons why, but you didn't. And now you were about to go into your significance statement, so go for it.
So it seems arbitrary to ask, but why would something so beneficial require mandating? Well, to go over why this is important to all of us is because diseases have made a comeback because of new fears that have arisen over the years of vaccination leading to autism and many other causations that are many other correlations that I will go over in my point. So many of us have that similar thought of something so good. What are the catches? So right now I'll go over my 3 points, which are the fears of vaccination leading to autism, a free ride where people have that thought of if everyone else gets vaccinated, I don't, and herd immunity, and third of all, free choice and infringement of rights. So to go over my first point of the fears of autism being correlated to vaccinations. So Dr. William Thompson published in a 2004 article to the Journal of Pediatrics suggesting that there is a causation between vaccinations and autism. However, on August 27, 2004, Dr. Thompson revealed that as I quote, "I regret that my co-authors and I omitted statistical information in our 2004 article." He admitted that there is no link between autism and vaccinations. Yeah. I repeat, there is no link between autism and vaccinations. So the fear that arises between worried mothers and very scared parents is that children might develop autism after they get their vaccines. However, this is not true. There is a correlation between it, but no causation. So what this means is that children around the age of, when they're at adolescence, when they get their flu shots, is approximately around the same time when autism symptoms develop. So most people associate one or the other, but there is no causation, only correlation. So that fear you can throw out. Second, the collective action problem on why people don't feel the need they need to mandate vaccinations is because they believe that if everyone else gets vaccinated, I myself don't have to. The disease is no longer strong enough in our population to affect anyone. So the collective action problem would be herd immunity. So the definition of herd immunity is general immunity to a pathogen in a population based on the acquired immunity to it by high portions of members over time. So what this means is that if everyone else gets it, that means the vaccination or the disease is so rare within a population that people don't develop it. Now, this was the case back in the day. However, because of the 2004 article and the fears of many people, this is no longer the case. The fears of vaccinations are causing people to not vaccinate their children, which is causing a problem in people because, like you can see from recent articles like the 2015 one, diseases are coming back such as measles, like the measles outbreak in Disneyland. So everyone should get vaccinated and it should be mandated. According to NBC News, over 140 people caught the measles. Many of those were not vaccinated. Many were children that were too young to yet be vaccinated. So because everyone thinks that diseases are no longer apparent, are no longer relevant, they don't get vaccinated, which is no longer the case. Now, the third problem with not mandating vaccination is people are afraid of that this will infringe the right. Oh, the government is forcing us to get vaccinated. The government is making us do something against our free will, which is not the case, because by you not getting vaccinated, or by you not getting your children vaccinated, it is infringing on the rights of others. We have the right to choose ourselves, but when our choices, when our rights are hurting other people, as it does in this case, then it's no longer your own right. You're not only putting yourself at risk, but you're putting others at risk as well. This includes children who are too young to be vaccinated, people who are taking immunosuppressant drugs, or people who have weak immune systems and aren't capable of being vaccinated. Given an example like any disease, one disease would be whooping cough, and whooping cough is extremely contagious. If I were to sneeze right now or cough right now and I had whooping cough, all of you that weren't vaccinated in this vicinity would probably catch it immediately. Because some people are immunosuppressant or have taking immunosuppressant drugs, they're not capable of being vaccinated. So me getting whooping cough puts you at risk, although you take preventative measures. So it's hurting the rights of others when you do this. So there are diseases. So my final thing is that there are diseases that are that aren't treatable after the fact, such as polio. Polio, if you get vaccinated for it, it becomes virtually basically gone out of our country, as we've seen in the past. When polio started, when polio came to the U.S. in 1955, over 6,000 people developed polio and thousands of them died. However, because of the vaccination, in less than 40 years, polio was practically eliminated from the Western Hemisphere. So as you can see through my three main points, why vaccinations are extremely important and why the CDC should mandate it. So vaccinations should be a privilege, but due to the irresponsibility, the fear, and the negligence of people, it needs to be mandated. So I have gone over the myths of vaccination, such as how they cause autism. I have gone over the collective action problem, whereas if we all do our part, then it is the greater good for the greater amount of people, especially for those who cannot get vaccinated due to either age or their immune system. And finally, how getting vaccinated helps everyone, and it doesn't infringe on your right because it benefits us as a community as a whole. So if you were to ask me if there was a miracle drug that could prevent something, could prevent deadly diseases or prevent something from hurting you in the future, and something so good, something that saves thousands of lives, why not mandate it? Why not mandate it?
Thank you.
I'm so glad I'm vaccinated for whooping cough.
6:37. What did you like?
Hello everyone, my name's Marissa.
Hey,
Hi, Marissa.
And I really liked how you opened up with the story. It makes it more personal and has people more kind of like relate to you. And then I also liked how your conclusion, you kind of summarized everything because there was a lot of information. So it kind of reminded me of everything.
Improvement.
Hey guys, my name is Cody.
Hi, Cody.
So I really liked it. I think that you gave a very, I don't know, for some reason when you were speaking on it, you just seemed like almost credible, like a credible source yourself. But I would say that the biggest thing also is I don't think you needed your notes as much as you used them because you knew exactly what you were saying. Again, that goes back to when I was saying you were like, you came off as credible yourself, that that maybe hurt the credibility a little bit, but you're good. You're chilling.
Thank you, Cody. let's start with that. How can we, for your final speeches, get you away from this, your trainer wheels?
I think the final speech...
Can we get away from this?
Yeah.
Can we,
since the final speech is like impromptu, this one I used it for like, because I didn't have the dates memorized and like quotes memorized, so I when I forgot a point, it was my training wheels. So for the final speech for the impromptu, I don't think I need specific like quotes, dates, and citations.
Okay, I hope not. He's absolutely right. The looking down, it does two things. You break your eye contact and it lowers your credibility. You're not just here and here talking. Well, your question was, should the CDC mandate vaccination? And you talked about it in an interesting way, and I'm going to suggest a way that could have been a little bit more direct and effective. Well, let's go through what you did do. You opened with a speech about your speech with your mother, sadly enough, having cancer and going through chemo, and thinking, I wish there was a vaccine for this. And it was a very touching and moving story, and I felt your sadness and frustration. I would have liked you to have tied back somehow to your intro story. That's what a tie back does. And so we come the full circle. So tie back is the first thing I was concerned about. Would have been more effective. On your SIG statement, well, I didn't get a preview from what you were going to do, and on your SIG statement, I think it's something more like what Jasmine said. This is significant because these limousine liberals in Malibu and Beverly Hills that don't want to vaccinate their kids are going to bring back polio, whooping cough, and everything else, and they're going to screw the rest of us that are being good citizens. You know, and they're just taking advantage of the good people, so they can live their fantasy that somehow vaccines cause, autism, even though there's no evidence of that. So, and I think your William Thompson article needed to come as a background observation before you launched into your 3 reasons why. But that's just what I would have done. But in any case, let's talk about what you did do. And let me suggest the first thing is I would have said the first reason the CDC should mandate vaccinations is because they're safe. And they're safe. And then I would have talked about the article and how he had to admit it, and subsequent articles have found studies have found no link with autism. None. Then my second reason, again, it was too complicated. Reading this long definition violates the rules of stickiness. You lost us when you went into the definition of herd immunity, and you knew you had to say, well, now, what does that mean? A better way to say this is just to say the second reason is that herd immunity doesn't exist. Right?
I thought I would have to explain herd immunity.
Well, you could have a little bit, but I would have started with that slug line. Herd immunity doesn't exist anymore because of what this irresponsible doctor did, this unethical doctor did. Herd immunity has been lost. And so we're screwed now. And then your third reason, infringements to rights, I would have phrased it in the positive. I would have said no rights are absolute. No rights are absolute. You don't have a right to free speech. You'll fire in a crowded theater. I have free speech, right? It's my right. no one has a right to walk around diseased and so on and so forth, right? So society, there's a balance between the rights of an individual and the rights of society to be safe. In this case, society wins out.
Yeah, what I focus on is the catches, because something so good can't exist, or what I argued. So all of my points were like, oh yeah, people feel that herd immunity makes them invulnerable. They're scared of the vaccination, and that they're scared it might infringe on their right. So I phrased it in a negative way, all three of my points.
I know you did. I think it would have been more effective the other way.
Okay.
Your summary, again, as your colleague here suggested, was effective in saying what you did say, so that was a good summing up. I think it could have been stronger. And then again, a stronger tie back. No notes would have been stronger, but you illuminated a very important topic and did good research on it. Thank you.
For you, sir.
Yeah.
The back one is the evaluation.
Self-evaluation, right. You also have an extemp too?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think he's the last
They're
one.
coming out of the woodwork.
Coming out of where?
The woodwork. Like termites.
Really?
Termites. Take a step forward, please, Jasmine. Yeah, that's better. Nice contrast to the white background. Very
Bonfire
nice.
attire.
Bonfire. Yeah. Oh, we're going nationalistic tonight. Yeah, I forgot.
Are
Yeah.
you coming? Did they save you a seat?
I resent what this
Want in and
athletic.
out?
I resent what this athletic empire does to this academic funds of the school.
So you think we should do another rally?
But education is important.
No. Yeah, I'm going. I'll leave it at that. I'm going. Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I was so disappointed last year though. Like,
Are we? By the way, just are we gonna win this game?
I think so.
It's the only game that matters, so we better.
No, but I mean, just who has good analysis?
Is it like
very good analysis.
Rosen
USC
good?
hasn't been good for the past like
They had a bad team.
years, so yeah, I'm not expecting much.
It's actually they're like based on the statistics, they're pretty even, but UCLA is expected to like come up on top.
Oh, okay, great. Well, so all the UCLA people will be happy. Great. Okay. Okay. Jasmine stands before you, managing attention, communicating respect non-verbally. Okay, he's texting. Put it away. Finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name. Feel the love. Start your speech.
Hi, my name is Jasmine.
Hi, Jasmine.
I want you guys to show hands, okay? Who likes to go to the movie theater? Who likes to go to basketball games, soccer games? Anyone planning on going to a concert anytime soon? Most of you have raised your hand for most of these things. What if ISIS was present at one of these things? And this is not to scare you, but these are all places where there's a big crowd and it's very likely to attract something like ISIS, and we need to be aware of this. Now, today I'm going to answer the question, is the U.S. doing enough to counter ISIS? I think no, not at all. If there's anything to say that I had to change my speech multiple times of like what's been going on just in the past couple of weeks, my answer stays and is more emphatically no every day. And I will give you 3 reasons why. One would be that President Obama needs to be more comfortable sending troops because right now we're at a point where we need a war of attrition. My second point would be that we're not doing enough on the internet to counter ISIS, especially the State Department. The programs they have are not enough. And number 3 would be that if we can see in the media, ISIS is growing like bigger and stronger than ever, and the U.S. needs to combat that. So they need to step up their game as well. Why is this important? Before we may have thought that this is only important, oh, it's only happening in Iraq, it's only happening in Syria, but I hope, as I said, the media is showing you they've gone to Paris and they're, who says they can't come here? And even if they don't come here, like, I hope you guys would care about like innocent people that are dying for no reason at all. So that's my second statement. So now I'm going to go on to my first point, which is saying that President Obama should be sending out troops because we need a war of attrition at this point. So everyone knows that Obama has been very against sending troops, speech after speech. He said, I'm not going to send troops, I'm not going to send troops. And then finally, at the end of October, he made a speech, okay, I will give 50 troops and send them to Syria. Obviously, this has not been enough. It's basically just a Band-Aid on the wound. Nothing has happened, nothing has changed. What Senator Bernie Sanders had said, and he wrote a Facebook post on November 17th, President Obama is not doing enough. He may be trying, which is better than just saying he's not going to send troops at all, but even if someone like Senator Bernie Sanders is saying this, I think we need to really look at what we're doing. Also, there's a really interesting article by Walter Mead, and he gives us points of how honestly, ISIS is not that hard to combat because they're weak in various points, and they're just, they haven't been trained well and so on. And so the reason that they're actually doing these big violent things like Paris is because they want to get more people to notice them and to be with them and stuff. And it obviously shows that like they haven't had the military part thus far, so they need to do these like big things. And so what he says we need to do, which I agree with, is that we need a war of attrition at this point. And as Senator Dianne Feinstein said on November 7th, either we fight them now or we fight them later. It's only a matter of time. Now I'm going to go on to my second point, which is that we're not doing enough on the internet. So most of you know that there's been headline after headline that people are joining ISIS through the internet. They're like lonely on their computer, go on Twitter, and like people are saying, oh, like join us for this reason, for that reason, and they're very convincing. So like, how do we stop this? Why aren't we like doing more on the internet? Only 20 people are in the Pentagon that are fighting ISIS online, or that are in the counter propaganda online, and that's insane. Only 20 people, like basically this class, like that's like definitely not enough people, especially considering that there are about 200,000 Twitter posts, just Twitter posts alone, every day about ISIS things. That's insane. Like, why shouldn't we be doing more? There's also something called the Think Again, Turn Away campaign, but even like this lady named Rita, who's very important, she said this is an embarrassment, like what is this? Even Twitter hasn't changed their like laws to fix this. Facebook has, Instagram has, but like how are they not getting Twitter to fix this problem? It's insane, and I don't understand it. President Obama said in the end of February that he's really gonna work on like the internet aspect. We're in November. What is happening? I don't know. So my third point is that ISIS is gaining more momentum than ever, and we need to get on their level and combat them on that level. I don't even need to tell you. So there's Paris, how many people died? Russia, there was the plane that disintegrated. Yemen, the Kenyan University. There's a lot of things that you guys like don't even know about because we don't apparently care in the media too much about the Middle East. But a lot of things have been going on, and they're becoming more and more prevalent, and they're coming more and more west. Like, I don't think you realize that ISIS is not trying to just rule a government. ISIS is not trying to rule a nation. ISIS is trying to rule the whole world. So they are going to come for us if we don't combat them. There's an article on the Washington Post saying after all these things happened, there's also a video to come with it. You see these ISIS men, really scary looking in the video, telling you, oh, we're coming for Washington next, we're coming for California next. Like, that's insane. Like, we should be doing things to, gain more momentum so that we can fight them. Also, it's been said that when ISIS is doing all of these things, it's making other terrorist groups also want to do these things. Oh, like, no, we're better. So what happened in Mali the other day in the hotel was an act of Al-Qaeda, and basically one of them said, yeah, ISIS should learn from us. So it's like, if we're not combating ISIS, also, like, they're trying to compete with each other, and that's causing us even more problems. So, in summary, I gave you 3 reasons why we should, and why the U.S. is not doing enough to counter ISIS. The first reason was President Obama should be more comfortable sending troops so we can have a war of attrition. The second example was we're not doing enough on the internet, we should be doing more. The third example would be that ISIS has been gaining momentum and we need to get on their level to fight them. So in conclusion, the U.S. is not doing enough. I don't know about you, but for Black Friday, I really want to get my 50% off at Urban Outfitters and not worry about ISIS coming, because people are saying that ISIS will be coming to my mall on Black Friday, and I'm very scared, and I don't want to be scared, so I hope we can combat them. Thank you.
Thank you, 637.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, where are we? Here, yes, what did you like?
I liked how well you knew your material. You were obviously very passionate about it, and I liked it when you brought up the Middle East, a little kick. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Improvement?
Hi, my name's Guilherme.
Guilherme?
Guilherme.
Guilherme?
Guilherme.
Guilherme. Hi, Guilherme.
Hi there. So, awesome job. You rocked it. No notes. Very commendable. I would say maybe just one thing, lower the use of maybe sentence fillers.
Sorry.
It lowers credibility a little bit, but you were a credible source. You had your research down, and that's really minimal. Great job.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, you did a good job. Just remember, on the Walter Mead, he's a professor, say so. Qualify him as a good source. Look him up if you didn't know that. So you took a strong position, and I appreciate that. There are some people that argue, no, this will create more terrorists if we respond too much to ISIS. This has been President Obama's position. I don't want to create more terrorists by putting boots on the ground. So you started with, the gatherings. You brought it home to us by making large gatherings here in America, which I really liked, and Black Friday, and you tied back to that. So that was excellent. You really got the system down of the 7-part outline. You gave an emphatic, I like your emphatic, you're more emphatic in your delivery style, and so that's better. So you emphasized key words, and that was good. Your third reason could have been worded a little bit more tightly. It was a little vague, but that's good. That's okay. On your SIG statement, I would have also mentioned that they've hit 3 continents now, including Africa. You're a little African-like. Still, the analysis was excellent. I think your indictment of President Obama's 50 troops was telling and important. I don't think Bernie Sanders' quote was meant the way you presented it, but it still worked and it was kind of interesting. Walter Mead, the Professor Mead stuff was really interesting. Now, the one thing I would say is, does your audience know what a war on attrition means? What's attrition?
It's kind of like a united war on all fronts, where you kind of just let it all out there and try to make ISIS go away.
Okay, is that your understanding of attrition? What's attrition mean to you?
I have never heard that term before.
It's like a siege, kind of, like a long-term, starve them out kind of thing.
Starve them out. So they just can't go on anymore, yeah? What's your definition of attrition?
I thought it meant sending troops to make ourselves known,
Yeah, no, that's not your definition. Your definition of a dream. Anybody else? So you used a word that people didn't know about, that we don't not really know about.
As a
but
history
it
major, I just assumed.
But yeah, don't apologize. But check your vocabulary to make sure that you, when Professor Mead used the term, he meant to wear them out till they're just completely demolished and they have nothing left.
Right.
They're, as you point out, they're not that strong. They're not that organized. And if they're selling. They're getting their money by selling oil on the black market.
Right.
We just hit 300 of their tanker trucks, so that should put a dent in their operations a little bit, and that's kind of part of the war on attrition. Part of the difficulty, with all of this is, you can wipe them out, but they disperse, and the trouble is in any ungoverned desert place that they can regather, they can reform and replan their mischief. Nice way to put it. I love the Dianne Feinstein quote. Thought it was very effective. Thought you marshaled your evidence really well. That was good. Yeah, on this, I think that you could have done a stronger job on indicting Twitter for really being very much like just really amoral or immoral in letting this continue.
Yeah.
Whereas the other companies have stepped in and closed these accounts down, and they are really looking the other way. And we really need to put a lot of pressure on Twitter to shut this down. And I would have gone a little further to say the government maybe needs to really go further, because that's your mandate is the U.S. government needs to go further. See. On the momentum, the Russian planes, Africa, the copycats, that was excellent. Excellent evidence. That was really well done. Summary, conclusion, tieback were all excellent. Your goals were to have more passion, don't go overtime, which you didn't, and maintain eye contact. How'd that go?
I think I did well.
Yeah, you did well this time. It was a really excellent speech. Thank you.
So much.
Okay, next.
Sorry, I don't have staples. Oh, you do.
Yeah, I have the green meanie. We hair me. Yeah. How you doing?
Doing well, and you?
Okay, you're tall. She's short. Okay. Take a step forward, please. And a little bit that way. Too far. Right there, yeah. Gui Herme stands before you, managing attention. They're talking, communicating respect. He has his computer open, finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name, feel the love. Start your speech.
The attackers went into the section of the hall for people with disabilities and started shooting people in their wheelchairs. It was a bloodbath. It was a slaughter. We're living a nightmare. On November 13th, terrorists conducted a series of attacks in Paris, France, using automatic rifles and suicide bombers to murder 127 innocent people. Responsibility for these horrific acts was later claimed by ISIS, a terrorist organization established in Iraq following the 2003 U.S. invasion. Today, ISIS marches towards Syria in an effort to establish a unified Muslim territory that will enforce its extremist beliefs. Today I want to answer the question, is Syria going to fall to ISIS? My answer, even in the midst of complex circumstances, is simple. Syria will not fall to ISIS. Because of the instability and civil war in Syria currently, I do believe that Syria will fall to new leadership eventually. But in staying true to the prompt, I will argue that it will not be to ISIS. My 3 reasons are that ISIS is losing ground rather than gaining it. Syria boasts the power of a strong Russian alliance, and the Paris attacks have prompted a worldwide coalition against ISIS. In the words of President Barack Obama, this is an attack not just on Paris, it's an attack not just on the people of France, but this is an attack on all of humanity and the universal values that we share. We've learned by these attacks that ISIS threats have weight. And as the US being one of the primary targets on ISIS's hit list, this topic should be of great significance to everyone in this room. If Syria were to fall to ISIS, it would further empower the group and allow them to further terrorize the world. The first reason that I believe Syria will not fall to ISIS is because the terrorist organization is losing ground rather than gaining it. The Paris attacks suggest that ISIS is stronger and more capable than ever before. But this is wrong. When we look at ISIS in the Middle East, we see incredible territorial losses. Loveday Morris from the Washington Post reports, Kurdish forces recaptured the northern Iraqi town of Sinjar. They have also regained control of the major oil refinery in Baji, and Iraqi forces have completely besieged the central city of Ramadi. It's only a matter of time before they take that from ISIS as well. Major General Thamir Ismail, a commander of SWAT forces in Ramadi's province, concludes that ISIS has attacked Paris in order to keep up the morale of their fighters and distract from their losses in Syria and Iraq. I expect that when we liberate Ramadi, there will be more attacks in Europe. At its peak last year, ISIS had about 1/3 of Iraq's territory. Today, they have 1/4 of that amount. This shows that ISIS has been facing losses, and the horrific attacks in Paris were an attempt to get more people to join their ranks and to show that they are still powerful. The second reason that I believe Syria will not fall to ISIS is that Syria boasts the power of a strong Russian alliance. Syria has had a historically strong, stable, and friendly relationship with Russia. On October 1st, BBC News reported that Russia launched airstrikes in Syria targeting 12 ISIS locations in 24 hours. Russia's alliance has been invaluable to Syria not only to attack ISIS troops, but also to attack the anti-government forces that are currently fighting the government in Syria and creating this horrific tragedy of Syrian refugees across the world. This has been regarded by the US as a negative result because of the Syrian refugees being displaced from their homes and the countless deaths. On November 19th, President Barack Obama demanded that Bashar Assad, the president of Syria, step down and urged Russia and Iran to stop supporting the Syrian government. Regardless of the negative byproduct of the Russia-Syria alliance, it does significantly reduce the chances of Syria falling to ISIS. The third reason I believe Syria will not fall to ISIS is because the Paris attacks have prompted a worldwide coalition against ISIS. The UN Security Council unanimously passed a resolution on November 20th that urged UN members to redouble and coordinate their efforts to prevent and suppress terrorist acts committed specifically by ISIL. Western allies fighting against ISIS are made up of the United Kingdom, Australia, France, Germany, Canada, and the Netherlands. Each of these countries is significantly contributing towards the destruction of ISIS by enacting airstrikes, deploying ground troops in Iraq, providing intel and supplies to Syrian troops. It has only been 4 days since these efforts began, so I assume that in the coming months we will see the progress of this worldwide effort to eradicate ISIS. Numerous countries in the region have also vowed their support, including Saudi Arabia and Turkey, amongst others. With ISIS now in the priority list of countries across the world, I believe it is nearly impossible for Syria to fall while the world watches. In summary, I have shown you 3 reasons why I believe Syria will not fall to ISIS. The first is that ISIS is losing ground rather than gaining it. The second, that Syria boasts the power of a strong Russian alliance. And the third, because the Paris attacks have prompted a worldwide coalition against ISIS. There should be no doubt in this room that Syria will not fall to ISIS, and I will even go further to predict that soon the world will watch as this barbaric organization is wiped from the face of the planet. These are not soldiers. They are not brave men dying for a cause. These are cowards who have no problem murdering those who cannot fight back. The Paris attacks were a tragedy beyond belief. Let us not allow the victims to have died in vain. Thank you.
13. Where are we? I guess.
Hey guys, I'm Idan.
Hi, Don.
As always, just like your previous speech is very, very good. Your points were thought through. Your voice is very crisp and easy to understand, and I think that's worth mentioning. I guess I was kind of surprised you didn't mention that the Syrian opposition armed forces they got there. I think they do deserve some mention in this whole ordeal and this craziness that's going on, and the notes. But overall, just like before, very good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So now, how can he grow?
Hi, my name is Jasmine.
Hi, Jasmine.
So you have like a very powerful voice that just grasps all of our attention. It's such a shame that you have to look down at those little moments, because we would love to see your face more. So
Appreciate that. I know, I'm so reliant on these. I'm looking to stop that the next speech. The final.
Yeah, gosh. I wish you would, because it hurts your credibility.
I know.
And I don't know if you're planning to go into law or whatever you're headed for, but if you can speak extemporaneously without notes to a business gathering, to a jury or whatever, you're just going to be more credible and more effective. So let's talk about your speech and go through it. There's little I have to say, but for the notes, I thought the argumentation was solid. I have a few quibbles. You started on a very emotional, justifiable point of describing the Paris slaughter, and it was very vivid and very good, and you tied back to that, so that was good. And was 127? Is that the final count? I thought it was 139, but
Is it?
I don't know, but it's high. It's enough. Yeah, it was enough. Yeah. So, and you took what I consider, in my opinion, the correct position. I don't think ISIS is going to fall. Syria is going to fall to ISIS, but in the meantime, as long as they have little enclaves where they can plan and get into mischief, they're still a threat to the world. And that's the problem. Those safe havens that they had in Afghanistan, that they had elsewhere, is just a time where they can train and plan and put together their mischief. So I think, in my opinion, you took the right position, and you wisely chose the three main points that support that. Interestingly enough, on your first point, you talked about Syria losing ground rather than gaining ground. And you cited different anecdotal evidence, Kurdish forces recapturing this town and a refinery in Ramadi and so on and so forth. One little tidbit, I don't know if you came across it, but the New York Times reported that the Central Command had been cooking the books on ISIS to make it to appear that they're diminished more than they actually are, to go along with the president's narrative. It was and the president acted real upset, like, how could they do this to me? I'm going to get to the bottom of this. But it was very interesting little New York Times expose. I guess you didn't see it. Yeah, but yeah, it's interesting about just facts. But you clearly didn't support it with that way. You supported it with good, solid. The Kurds are doing well. Key cities are going, and it looks like the momentum is turning against ISIS. So that was effective. Yeah, the Russians are turning the tide for that Syrian leader. It's going to keep him in power. So you might as well, Americans better sit down and get used to it. And they're daydreaming, and John Kerry is the worst of them all. He's going to negotiate this guy out of power. Yeah, right. Hoo-ha, yeah. And, you know, they're, as you correctly pointed out, they're not only occasionally bombing ISIS, but they're bombing the anti-Assad strongholds, too. And you know, our good people and CIA enclaves as well. So they're bombing us.
Yeah.
So, it's tricky. On the, I think we'll see if this is going to be a coalition like the coalition that happened after 9/11. It looks like it might be. The world is pretty pissed off about Paris and now Africa and the Netherlands, and you know, Brussels is still in lockdown, and people have just, you know, this is enough. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, the bullshit's over.
Take 'em out, yeah.
That's it. Okay, this was fun, but you know, bye. You know, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it has only been 4 days since they.
It's been 4 days, so we will see. Your summary was fine, your conclusion was fine, and your tie back. You said don't rely, your canais were to not rely on note cards.
Failed.
To walk on the 3 points, which you did okay. Connect with the audience and convince people that Syria will not fall. How'd it go?
Were you guys convinced that Syria's not going to fall?
100%.
Yeah.
It's good.
Okay. All right, then I did that one. I walked on my points, although I walked a little late on one.
Yeah.
Failed the notes.
Yeah.
You didn't fail, you passed, but just a low pass, it's okay.
Okay. Yeah, because one of my things was to not use the notes.
You're
So.
good, don't worry.
And then, did I connect with you guys?
I think so. I think that
super emotional.
You have the voice of God.
the voice. I think your voice really does it, and you should be. I'm sure you're aware of it if you haven't been told already that it has a natural emotional dimension to it. And when you start talking about, you know, dead bodies and people in wheelchair being blown up and so forth, in that deep voice, it resonates. And you know, and if you do the felt sensing. You haven't had my other class, but I teach a thing called felt sensing, where you remember the emotion and feel it too as you're speaking it. Then it's even more powerful. So you did a nice job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Herme.
Professor,
Yeah.
isn't Russia bombing Syria though right now? Like currently?
Yeah.
But they're allies. Or are they just bombing that area where ISIS is?
They're bombing ISIS and us. Our people that are in Syria.
Did you hear about the Turkey thing this morning?
Yeah, Turkey shot down a Russian plane.
Yeah, I
That was
heard
good.
that because it flew over Turkey or something.
Yeah, they're
and
over
they were
Turkey.
supposed
Yeah, that's good. Okay, it's time for impromptus. Volunteer, good, thank you. Good man. I don't have to run my hand down the list. Good, okay, good.
Look at you, Cody.
Cody? Cody, that's,
I'm good.
Cody.
I was.
Okay, just a reminder, you know, the third extemp is due from, third extemp is due from everybody. Everyone say it aloud.
The third exam is due from everybody.
Today?
No, but
Next week.
next week, but you have to turn it in, even though you're not going to orally deliver it. You have to type it out with a bibliography. I'm looking at
Oh,
my friend here.
Oh,
He had no bibliography.
It's okay, Doctor.
can the essays do too?
Because I just- I
Is
just
it going
posted
through
links,
in or
right?
in person?
In person, yeah, in person. Oh, you're gonna email it to me, princess?
Ooh, we become a new princess.
No. New princess. No, you have to come in person. I have to see your smiling face.
Professor, is there a chance we can ask for an extension until like Friday? Turn it via email or?
Who's we?
Well,
What do we speak
okay,
to
We
the
the
group?
people.
Me, but I would.
I'd be
Would
down
that be
for
possible?
that, you know.
Friday instead of what?
Instead of Tuesday. So we have 10
Am I
to
here on
complete it.
Friday? See, I have final on Monday. I guess that would be
So
reasonable.
the Friday.
Where should we meet you?
I mean, you're not meeting me. I guess you'll turn it in to the Comm office.
Okay.
Where's that?
That's totally cool.
Can
Does
we?
anyone know where the
The
Comm
paper,
office
right?
is?
The paper, that's what
Yeah, the paper.
She knows where it is.
The third exempt speech that we're all giving.
Third extemp speech and your brief.
Oh, everything we can
Your
turn in
brief.
on Friday?
No.
So what could be turned?
Just the third extemp.
Just the third exempt.
Wait,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
talking about the final paper.
I'm confused now.
Can we turn in the final paper?
Oh,
on
he meant the
Friday?
final paper, not the exempt speech. The exempt speech will give you on Tuesday.
Yeah, exempt
Oh, I was
still on
talking about.
Tuesday.
Oh, I thought I was talking
I was
about.
not everyone's advocate in this class.
Since we can turn it in via email? can we
No.
send it? No?
So no paper on Friday.
This causes me great trepidation. I was going to say that it's okay for the extemp speeches by email on Friday, but you can't get the other one done.
There's
You've had all quarter.
I know, but like there's a 30 page or 20 something page paper. The midterm, the impromptu.
Yeah, right. It's 4
outline.
units. Thank you. Welcome to a real university.
So we'll give it's okay. We'll do with the third speech being due on Friday, right, Raymond?
We got this.
We'll do it.
I
So the
mean-
third speech due Friday, the other ones due Tuesday. We got this. Okay.
It's
24.
Well, 24 speakers.
Yeah.
Paper switch for paper.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah, so I was the
Okay.
third speaker, or
No, the
third
midterm.
group last
Midterm
speaker.
ends up being.
Well, also because it's like the 5 stages of your outline are in there.
Yeah.
Okay, let me get
So it's
the
like 20 pages.
Huh?
the prompt. Where's the prompt? Yeah.
One is by Gary Blair saying that
I'll find it out for
your
you.
future should take precedence over your past, focus on your future rather than your past.
Out of like 7 questions, or 8 questions.
Friday. This Friday.
Like each question takes like an hour.
Paper and the
Like Friday the 10th.
You mean?
Third extemporaneous speech that we do not give.
Okay, let's go to it.
The last section.
Very last page.
Yeah, or third round. So of
You guys are gonna, we're gonna have fun things.
Well, I'm in the library with my brother all the time.
That's why.
Okay. Okay, we are now shifting to impromptu.
I'm gonna send.
We didn't know last time you were. Did you?
I knew like 80 people.
Yeah, but did you know that it was that's like it was like very. Oh, today it's 40% chance of rain tonight.
At least we have a
Do you think they won't do the bonfire if it's raining, Professor?
No, that's like super safe now.
What?
Will they still do the bonfire if it's raining?
You're asking me. Right?
You're my credible source of everything UCLA related.
Yeah, athletics. Might as well, right?
Athletics. What's your favorite sport?
Debate.
Got him.
Got one.
Okay, we are now, okay, you're gonna go one step that way. Good. We are now in the realm of impromptu, and we're doing our final impromptu speeches. Cody has been given the choice of the following 3 topics. Your future takes precedent over your past. Focus on your future rather than on the past, by Gary Ryan Blair. The second topic, if the present is really all we have, then the present lasts forever. And that was by Anne Lamott. And finally, the third choice, we need not be afraid of the future, for the future will be in our own hands, by Thomas Dewey. Give me a moment to decide which topic I wish to hear today.
Sounds good.
Okay, I believe I would like to hear I'd like to hear topic number 1. Your future takes precedent over your past. Focus on your future rather than on the past, by Gary Ryan Blair.
When I was growing up, I knew of a boy who appeared as though he had everything. He had really nice clothes, awesome siblings, Pokemon cards, video games, everything that a 90s kid could possibly want. But as I began to look at this kid a little bit more, I saw a part of him that he was hiding. A side that was hurting and dwelling on the past to the point where he could not move forward anymore. Gary Blair says, focus on your future rather than your past. Your future should take precedence over your past. Focus on your future rather than your past. And I could not agree with this statement more. What he is trying to get at is that so long as we continue to dwell on that which is hurting us, we cannot move forward. Today I'm going to give you guys 3 examples of individuals who refuse to let their past and present circumstance define who they are, and by doing so, they were able to achieve a level of immortality. These 3 individuals are President FDR, Oprah Winfrey, and Albert Einstein. When we continue to strive for something more, our opportunities are limitless. Today I want to start off by talking about President FDR. President FDR, in 1920, at the age of 39, was diagnosed with polio. It is here that he soon thereafter lost his ability to walk, and even his ability to simply stand up by himself and support himself. However, he would not let his disability define who he was as a person. What he did was in 1924, stand up in front of the Democratic National Convention and rally the people behind him, saying that our government and our country needs change. In 1928, he then appeared before the state of New York, where he won the governorship. And 4 years after that, he assumed the Oval Office as the 32nd President of the United States, being the only president to win 4 consecutive terms. The rules were made because of him. But his pathway to success was not an easy one. He strived to help others, but could barely help himself. And for that, he had a ton of critics. His critics called him a crippled and said he was unfit to lead. He said no, he wasn't. He said that as long as I continue to move forward, we can change, and so can this country. He was a great man who meant a lot to this country and did a lot of good. My second example is Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey also had a really hard time when she was growing up. Early on in her childhood, she was raped by her cousins, her uncle, and multiple family friends. She fled from home at the age of 14 pregnant, where she soon thereafter gave birth to a baby son, who later died in her arms. Now, I don't know about you, but I do believe that myself and many others at this point, after undergoing such horrible circumstances, would want to give up on life. They would dwell on the hurt, on the past, and the present, and never move forward. She refused. She refused to not let herself be a victim anymore, and so she continued on, got her education, and became a woman who would be a recognized standard for all women, and make sure that none of them would have to endure the pain that she had to endure. Today, Oprah Winfrey is one of the most influential and powerful women this world has ever seen, with a heart as big as anyone that I know. She would not allow the past to define her. My third and final example is Sir Albert Einstein. He was born to Jewish parents in the heart of Germany, to a middle-class family in the heart of Germany. basically having his life set for him. However, what many people don't know about Albert Einstein is that he was actually born a mute. For the first 4 years of his life, he was not able to talk. It's not that he couldn't, not that he didn't have something to not that he didn't want to, not that he didn't have something to say, he just simply couldn't speak. His fellow classmates and his teachers ridiculed him. They called him lazy and dumb. And if you know things about German culture as I do, to be considered those in a culture that thrives on efficiency, that can be one of the most hurting words that you could possibly say about somebody. However, after long thought, he knew that he should not be afraid of the future. He should not be afraid of those who have ridiculed him in the past, because he knew that he was the master of his own destiny. That through self-preservation or perseverance, that he could achieve greatness. And once he fled Nazi Germany in 1933 to the United States, for being Jewish, he continued to strive for peace in a world riddled by war. The present and the past wouldn't determine who he was. And because he continued to look forward, we were able to achieve peace by 1945. So today, I have given you guys 3 examples of individuals who had very tough times growing up in their lives, difficult circumstances, things that could ruin people. But each of these individuals continued to look forward. They said that they would be victims no longer, and they weren't. Oprah Winfrey, President FDR, Albert Einstein, without them, this world would be a much darker place. In conclusion, there should be no doubt in your guys' mind that Gary Blair's statement that your future should take precedence of your past, focus on your future rather than past, is true. Because as long as we continue to dwell, we will continue to be hurt and we will not progress forward. But now I want to talk about really quick that kid who was just a young boy who was focused on this past. He was able to overcome it, and he was just a young kid then. But now he stands as a young man, standing before you as the first generation of his family to go to college. He stands here trying to change the world, just as the world has changed for him, and just as it changed for people like Oprah, people like Albert Einstein, and people like President FDR. Thank you.
652, quickly. Would you like?
Hi, my name's Marissa.
Hi, Marissa.
And I really like the layout, and I liked how you opened up with the story and then you tied it back to the end, because it kind of like reminded us of like what you were talking about, and then kind of like threw us off that it was you. So that was my favorite part.
I knew it was you.
That was unexpected improvement.
Awesome job. I agree with. Oh, my name's Ucla, by the way.
Hi, Ucla.
I agree with Marissa. The ending made it real sticky. You know that, like saying that you're a first generation college student, like very very cool. It was surprising, memorable. Not much to say on improvement. I mean, you did a really good job with your memorization. You looked at the card just maybe twice. It's the only thing I can think of.
Okay, good, thanks. Real quick, since they're chomping at the bit to get in here, know your quote really solidly. Know your 3 quotes, almost in your sleep, so you don't stumble.
That was the worst part.
And your first impression is, don't want to be stumbling on your first impression. Your 3 examples were solid. You took a clear position. They were cogent, and you tied them back into your thesis of your quote, which was good, because many people just give examples and don't relate it up to their quote, which you did nicely, and you had good coherence all the way through. Einstein, a little over the top in the end. World peace, give me a break.
But bomb because of him.
All right, okay, yeah, okay, that's cool. And your tie back was unexpected. It was a sticky speech. Thank you very much. Good job. Okay, let's vacate the premises so they can get in here.
What a good day we had. Hopefully it doesn't actually rain.
Yeah.
Could I take a look at the pics real quick? I'm not sure that I ever chose an extemporaneous one. Or an impromptu one.
You're in a free country. People are dying in Iraq and Syria.
Oh
So
my
you have
God.
liberty and freedom.
Yeah, but my quotes were.
Right?
Professor,
Right, no, you're right.
I lost my my impromptu speech quotes. I just don't know which ones I picked. Hold on.
Well, look it up.
Could I?
Look it up.
Awesome.
My hands are freezing.
Do you have a grade
Right, another guy called her.
first speech or?
Yeah, you passed.
Oh, I know that. Oh my god.
Good luck with that.
You and everybody
Make
else.
sure to email from your Gmail account 100%. And at 3 in the morning.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Super warm.
I know, it's a nice jacket.
Did someone give me the roll sheet?
Oh, it's right there.
Did I not sign up for one?
I didn't.
Remember, you can't sign up for one that someone's already signed up.
Right, that's why I'm taking the picture so I can go back home and choose one.
Yeah, I guess me too.
Oh, you're not telling me now?
Yeah, because I
Oh,
haven't
because
thought
the
of it.
lady's waiting.
Wait, can I see it
Yeah.
really quickly?
I'll pick one now.
I think it's still recording.
Oh yeah?
Hey guys. What's
What
up?
Oh yeah, right?
What's up?
Bye, princess.
So I
Did I send it? I did. I was
I
out.
spent 2 hours on it and I looked at finally looked at it and online and realized I was doing it wrong. So I had to reset it.
Do you still have your Pokemon card?
What's your last
Dude,
name?
yeah, they're at my dad's house.
What?
too.
To Merchant.
Okay,
That's the second?
that's the
Oh,
first.
I know my first one. I was asking about the second.
I haven't recorded
Oh,
it.
yeah, I recorded.
You're very
Yeah, dude.
Hannah.
I'm gonna go study for my midterm.
Sounds good, dude. Killed it.
Okay, I need to get out of here. She wants to get in here.
Oh, I can't do that one. I love that girl, but I can't do that.
Look at this, everyone.